Comes from the laptop of our next guest, Jim Thomas, beat writer for the Rams for all those years, sports writer for STLtoday.com, and, of course, a contributor here at the Big 550 KTRS. Jim Thomas, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Good. How shocked are you that this happened on such a short week?
Well, the short week, but just surprised that they did it in the middle of the season. It doesn't fit Kroenke's MO. Back when Steve Spagnuolo was the head coach, and that was the only head coach that has been around since Kroenke was controlling owner. They let him go all the way through that painful third season, 10 wins and 38 losses with Spagnuolo, and they waited right till the end. I guess they didn't want. Maybe they didn't want Fisher to break the record for most losses.
Well, it sounds like, just reading what you write about some of the things coming out of Los Angeles, some of the social media, that it got really bad in terms of PR in the Los Angeles market over the last couple of weeks.
Well, and just I guess they've had 5 home games in L.A. In this first season, and they're already at the start of the game, not when they were trailing 42-0 Sunday against Atlanta. At the start of the game, thousands and thousands of empty seats in that stand. Fans are booing, demanding Fisher's head, and they have PSLs and tickets to sell for a new stadium. So I guess the Rams, Stan Kroenke, felt, boy, we better do something, or there'll be no one here by the end of the season.
What happened? He was so well respected coming in. Why did he fail? What was it? Personnel? Did he not adapt? What happened?
McGraw, that is a great question, because I think so many people locally and nationally have been piling on Fisher, and you know, a good portion of it's deserved. But when the Rams hired him in St. Louis in January of 2012, so almost 5 years ago, it was regarded as quite a catch. His reputation has fallen so far with what's happened with the Rams. I think partly it was personnel. Partly, maybe it was some stubbornness on Jeff Fisher about some things that needed to be done strategically, and I think partly it's the Rams. It's kind of funny, some of the stuff I read and hear in L.A. I think firing Jeff Fisher is going to solve everything. We all know here, we're a little wiser in St. Louis. It's more than just the head coach there. Usually the worst organizations in professional sports have bad ownership, they have bad management, besides a bad front office. And so I don't know if this necessarily solves the problem, firing Jeff Fisher.
Was it true that he was hired, one, because he was a good coach, but two, because he had experience in moving a team from Houston to Nashville, and therefore he would be able to guide the Rams from St. Louis to Los Angeles?
McGraw, interesting you brought that up. In January of 2012, I wrote a story about a job interview that Jeff Fisher had with Stan Kroenke out at Denver. You know, that Stan owns all those teams out in Denver. And Fisher was taken aback. This was from a source who's a very lifelong friend of Jeff's, told me that he got asked several questions about what it was like moving the Oilers to Tennessee. What were some of the issues? What were some of the problems? What were some of the logistical things? And Fisher was taken aback by all those questions. So, yes, I think it did factor in, and I think it did help him get this fifth year, at least most of this fifth year, because Kroenke wanted someone that had experience like Fisher to help guide the team through the move.
So what do you make of the fact that he didn't even last the first year in the new move, and as an excuse for him losing was because we still hadn't unpacked fully from the move?
Coaches do strange things when they know they're about to get fired, and Jeff Fisher certainly had some erratic behavior. The irony of this, and you can throw it in the category of only the Rams, is that just 9 days ago from today, the Rams confirmed that they had given Jeff Fisher a contract extension. What other organization gives a contract extension and then 9 days later fires the person that they gave the extension to? So It's a dysfunctional franchise over there.
I have a theory about that. Now, wasn't it signed in the offseason? I have a theory that Jeff Fisher leaked that own story to sort of, because he was, all this bad press was coming down. I think he somehow leaked the story to get the pressure off of him to say, hey, I still have a job for a couple more years.
Last year, late last season, these reports of a possible extension for both he and Les Snead surfaced in St. Louis. But you've got to remember, last year at this time, story number 1 through 10 regarding the Rams was, are they staying or going? Mm-hmm. So we didn't pursue it that much. We didn't pay that much attention. But you're right. It's been out there for a long time. It has been talked about by the national media for a while. So, yeah, it is very strange that it came out when it came out. Now, I don't know if it was Fisher or not that leaked it, but again, just another bizarre chapter in a bizarre organization.
Jim Thomas, last question for you. Going forward, how good of a job is this? Does Harbaugh leave Michigan? Does Nick Saban leave Alabama? Who wants this Rams job going forward?
Well, it depends if you like living in California. And some football coaches, they don't care. They just want to make sure the coffee machine works in the office, and you've got a good projector to look at film or whatever. Also, what you think of Jared Goff as the quarterback and the talent base. You got to remember, they traded away a bunch of picks to move up for the quarterback, Jared Goff, and take him number 1 overall. They don't have a first-round pick next year. And they've got a lot of holes in the roster. So Stan Kroenke's going to swing big. You know they need to make a big splash in L.A. But Saban, Harbaugh, I don't think any of those guys. But I think they'll try. That they'll probably give John Gruden a call, maybe Bill Cowher. But Kroenke will spend money on head coaches. I mean, Jeff Fisher, $7 million a year, and this could be upwards of $10 million a year for the next coach if it's a name guy. And I think Kroenke will try to make a name higher.
Jim Thomas, Post-Dispatch writer, longtime Rams beat writer, and KTRS contributor. Talking football tonight with Jimmy Hewer, 8 o'clock here on the Big 550 KTRS. Jim, thanks for all your help. Appreciate it.
You bet. Have a good day.
You got it. Jim Thomas with us. Good stuff.
That's good.
Really interesting stuff. 726, Big 550 KTRS. When we come back, I've got numbers for you.
Numbers.
I got a good bunch of numbers for you. 726, Big 550 KTRS. Here's